Welcome to the Figma Beginner's Guide to Star Wars Destiny Visual Database. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to paste in the same link that you'd be using off of a YouTube video description to get to the Star Wars Destiny Visual Database. What we're looking at here is that this recording is the V3 getting ready for the November 20th ARH4 Unlikely Heroes release. And so accessing Figma and this file for the very first time as a viewer, you're going to have limited capabilities. So you really need to create an account, and it's totally free. You could pay for additional features, but everything you need to do for Star Wars Destiny Visual Database for that, you can do from a free Figma account, probably forever. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So if you really want to get into this as a viewer, just the absolute basics to get around is you can click on a button, one of these handy buttons, yes, but ultimately you would also need to navigate via these pages here. If you ever run into a weird situation where you get to a page and this happened to me earlier, so far everything seems to be alright, but like I was zoomed in over here, there's a lot of different ways you can zoom. You can select from this drop down here. You can always zoom to fit or hit the 1 key on your keyboard to come out and see everything. You can also hit the plus or minus keys on your keyboard to zoom in and out. If you're on a Mac, you hold Command and then sort of swipe up and down on your mouse surface, or you can pinch in and out with the trackpad. On a PC, Control zoom wheel in and out will get you to zoom as well. And then if you, I like to do this precise zooming where I hold Z for the magnifying glass draw box and then zoom in on that area. So as you can see, all the cards are loading. There's 2,000 plus cards. They take a while to load. I've clocked it anywhere between 4 and 7 minutes, depending on I don't know what. and then to pan around, if you hold the space bar, you can click and grab to move around. So I'm zoomed in over here, I'm holding space bar, and I'm clicking and dragging to move around, and I can zoom some more, and I can really get in here and see what's what. Yeah, those are the absolute basics that you really need to be able to navigate around here, but again, to be able to really use it and to build decks into this workshop area that I've created, you need to create an account. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, if you've already created an account, then you just need to log in. If you're, so yeah. So the next thing I want to do is, create an account, sign up with email, and I'm going to do one of these plus Gmail things. I'm just going to go with a simple password and name, what kind of work, other questions, create account. Okay, then you need to go through your email and verify the email and do that. So we'll come back. Okay, I've clicked on the email and email verified, so I'm in, and then you should not see that file, which is actually interesting. I figured it would save that file for me, but that's okay. I can take this existing file, get the link, drop it in. Okay, so once you've logged in, if you've accessed the file, then it'll show up in your recents. Now, this is kind of like if you've ever used Google Drive, Google Docs. It's really similar to that. So I cannot edit this. This is still like the shared version. It's shared with me. It's in recents because I've accessed it recently. So in order to be able to actually, be able to use it and make your own decks and things, you need to copy it to your area. So in order to do that, you can either right-click it from here and hit duplicate, or if you're in the file, you can, from the drop down here, select duplicate to your drafts. So let's do that. So file duplicated to your drafts, open. So opening that one. And once you've done that, it'll need to reload all these into your cache again. And then for clarity's sake, you'll have it appear effectively twice here, and it's kind of hard to tell which one's which. The one that's in drafts is the one that you can actually edit. The other one you can't because it's a shared version for me. And to reduce any confusion, you can actually just go to drafts. Drafts are things that Figma's preloaded some helpful files for you if you want to use it for the things. But yeah, when in doubt, you can go to drafts and you can double click and open that one. I'm going to close that because I already have that same drafts file here. Yeah, and also it says copy here. And you can rename this to whatever you want if you want to, that kind of thing. Okay, so this is loading and that's well and good, but we're actually going to download the desktop app instead and close this. So you can get it in from a couple different spots. It could be kind of confusing. So if you're looking at a file, you can get desktop app here. You get it, and it'll just start downloading the zip or the exe. If you want to go back home where you can kind of see all the files, go click the Figma link or Figma icon, back to files. And then from here, it's not up in this corner, it's in this corner over here instead. And you can get desktop app from there. And then, boop, it'll download the zip for the exe. And then, so what I recommend is you can use it in the browser. It works great. However, you know, this visual database, like Figma's not necessarily designed for this because it's very intensely heavy with all 2,000 images, 2,000 plus images. So I actually recommend using the Figma desktop app. I think it's a little bit more stable and there's other benefits to it. So what you'll want to do is actually just close this one and then open the desktop app because you don't want two separate like versions, instances of all those files loaded on your browser and on your desktop app. It'll get kind of messy. All right, so when you've opened the desktop app for the first time, it says welcome. You know, you got to log in with your browser. So if you're already logged in, still logged in that browser, like this, then it's cool. It's like, hey, do you want to log in as that account? Open the desktop app, allow, and here we are. So it's nearly identical to the web version. And what's nice is, you know, you don't have to keep this open in a window or a tab, and you can just access it from here. So you go to your drafts, so you know that you're opening the one that you can edit, and click that open. And I'm just going to go to the MasterCard list page here and wait for these to load. We'll come back and I'll walk you through the whole file. All right, so let me walk you through the file. You got the welcome page, just a nice little cover page. It's got some instructions on how to use Figma stuff, how to get going with this. You can click these links to take you straight to those pages. Once you have it all loaded up, it usually runs pretty smoothly. And you can zoom in. Let's talk about some basic controls. So again, plus or minus on the keyboard zooms you in and out. You can hold Z to draw a box to zoom in like this. You can pinch on a trackpad. You can command swipe on your mouse if you're on a Mac, and you can control the wheel on your PC to zoom in and out. And then you hold spacebar and you click and drag to pan and move around. If you want to hide the Figma UI, the bars on the left and right, command backslash or control backslash probably on PC, and you can see more cards on your screen. Command backslash or control backslash to get it back. And the reason why you want the UI, there's a bunch of different reasons, but the main thing is to navigate through pages here. So yeah, the different pages. So MasterCard list is all of this, and of course we got Unlikely Heroes here, the brand new set. And if Figma is new, it's going to have some handy little tips pop up now and again. And basically, you want to leave this page kind of you don't want to mess with it too much. You'll definitely want to copy and paste out of it in certain instances. So let me show you the next page. This is just all the cards, and there are some overlays on some of these cards that I've put, and then I'll keep adding these for erratas and things like this as things get updated. So this is a kind of visual layout representation of the holocron for ARH standard format, and it says the effective date up in the corner here. And if you want to get the actual PDF, you can download there on the website. You can click this, click through to get to there. The eligible cards list, balance, and I have the balance in overlays here in a bright light pink so that they stand out. If you ever want to be like, oh, what was C3PO again? You can actually click to select and clicks on the layer here. You could double click again, and then you'll have selected this. You can actually hide it, clicking that eye. Like, oh, he was 810, now he's 911. Okay, I see. Yeah, and then let's see. So zooming out, and then same with the radas. You want to see what was behind there, you can double click. Once you selected this, you can kind of see what's over here. You can then do this guy here. You get restricted pairs, band, cards, character subtypes are in here, these overlays. And then the Echoes of Destiny reprint list. It's the same list, I just have it split up in two different ways, sorted by set or sorted by card type. They're all the same cards though. And then I have old reprints here too, as hopefully helpful reference. This will fall off eventually. ARH standard organized. So these are all the cards in the ARH standard legal for now, or as of now. And then as it updates, I will continually update this. So as you see, you've got it split up in villain, neutral, and hero. And then within those, the different colors: blue, red, yellow, and gray. And then within that, the different card types. And then within those, I've actually settled, right, at least for now, on organizing these by release. So the earlier released sets at the top, all the way down to the bottom of the latest set, unlike the heroes. And this is fuzzy right now, but if you give it a second, it will load the full res. Sometimes it'll do this as it's caching, but once it's fully loaded, that full res version, it'll be good to go. I don't know why it does that when it does it, but it will load full res. And then within the sets, just organizing them by number. And then let's see. Yeah, I mean that's basically this here. So as I work with the file, after I kind of have things set up, I'm mostly just going between this page here and the workshop page. So workshop is where I build my decks. So if you wanted to build a deck, here's how you do it. So let's say I wanted to build a Maul and Savage Opress, or however you pronounce his name. So I would copy and paste there. I went through that really quickly. Let's go back. So you can select a card. In this case, it's a flip card, which is kind of a weird thing, but it's good to show. So I select it. You can see it's bounded by a box, indicating that I selected it. You can Command C or Control C to copy it, and then Command C or Command V Command V or Control V to paste it. If I only want one of these cards, then what I'll do is I will select the card that I don't want, like this one, by double clicking on it. So I'm looking at it, just double click, and it'll select that card. You can see the bounding box. You can also see it in the layer here, and I can hide that. It's got this weird thing here, and I'll figure out a way to fix that eventually. So it's kind of a weird janky thing for flip cards only. Otherwise, everything else works pretty straightforward. I'm going to copy and then paste Savage Opress as well. And then let's see, I don't want this one. I'm not doing any math right now. And then, even though it's got that weird extra hangover thing, you could still just kind of put them next to each other. And so let's say I want to name this thing. So you've got your different tools up here. We've been using the move tool from up to this point, but you can use the text tool. Or you can hit T on your keyboard and click somewhere and start typing. So these are these guys Zabrax? I don't even know if I spelled that right. I can't see it. So here's how you can make this text bigger. On the right hand panel, there's the text, like the properties and things for what you have selected. There's text, and you can click and you can choose one. Yeah, so I didn't even spell that right. It's probably still not spelled right. And then, I don't really use this to pick one of these precise things. I usually just do this. So you select the text, and then you hold your Alt or Option key. You get the double arrow while you're hovering over that item, the text size, and you can just click and drag. and you can make as big or as small as you want. You can also change this bold, regular, change the font face, and all that kind of good stuff. This will have all the Google fonts preloaded in it. And then another thing I like to do with text too is like I'll just put it off to the side. Oh, here's what I did to do that. You can copy paste, but I usually use Alt or Option, and you'll get this double arrow icon when you do it to click and drag a duplicate of the thing. So then I'm hitting the T key so I can just go into edit mode on this right away, or you can just double click it. So I'm going to say, like, you know, I'll put aside like, oh, these are my removal cards. And then you can start copying and pasting your removal cards under there, and like these are my aggro cards or whatever they are. So let's grab some cards. Going back to Area Standard Organized, and let's just grab a little handful of events. So in order to do that, you can multi-select by I'm clicking and dragging and drawing a box around all the cards that I want. I'm going to Command C or Control C to copy, and then Command V or Control V to paste, and I'll put those in. Like I'll put them in a category over here, or I'll just start building my deck. Like, oh, I want these ones. And of course, you know, I like to build sort of a deck at 5 cards at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to draw a box to grab these 5, put them over here. Like, oh, let's say that these are cards that I've chosen. I would definitely want to have in my deck. There's a couple of things you could do. So, like, if I want to indicate 2 of, I'll do that Alt or Option drag to do this, but you know these need to be spaced better. So I'm going to undo that, Command Z or Control Z to undo. You could probably right click and undo. No, okay. And then so if these are already equidistant, then you'll get like these pink lines. If they're not, then hopefully you should be able to get this little icon here. You can also get this over here. Tidy up is what you're looking for. And so what that does is it makes all of the all these cards equidistant now, and they're 0 pixels apart. You can click and drag to expand these. You can also, you'll notice these pink overlays. If you grab the little pink lines in between, you can click and drag to do that. And then so I'm going to, let's say I want 2 of all of these, so I'm going to draw a box to select them all, and then Alt or Option drag to do a duplicate of, just so I can see that there's 2 of each. Yeah, and then you know you could delete any of these. It's not going to have any effect on the file. You know, they're always going to be back here as long as you didn't like cut or delete them from here. Please don't. And then also the master cards will always be there as well. Okay, let's. There's a couple other little things that I like to do. Is to, let's see. So there are a couple other tips that I wanted to share. You can do things like pull in other cards and sort of overlay them in ways that might be helpful. It's really abstract. So, okay, let's see. Let's go get Stormtrooper Han. Grab him, copy. I want to paste him here. Yeah, Han and Friends. All right, so let's say I've got Han here, and the reason why I'm using him as an example is that he references veteran Stormtrooper dice, right, from Legacies 13. Of course, you're not going to find that card here if you want that as a reference, because if you're like me and you have a goldfish memory, you don't know what those dice are. So Legacies here, there's about 20 cards wide for each of these sets, so I know it's going to be about here-ish. There he is, Veteran Stormtrooper. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste him over here, and then I'm going to overlay or underlay, I guess. So click that guy, right click, send to back. You can send backward or send to back. I like to send to back. And there we go. There's myself. There's my little reference for myself of what these dice are, what the size are of the dice. Another example of this sort of thing is Hoth guys. So let's say I've got like a Hoth deck or a red villain deck going, and I have the good old support. That's neutral. A good old support of 501st Assault Team. Okay. So I've got my characters and my battlefield and all my stuff going on, and I also have this in like the area where I decided I wanted to lay out support. And you may set aside e-weapon placement, Spirit Rebellion 5. Well, what is that card again? So for reference, we're going to come over here to Spirit of Rebellion, and let's see, what was it, 5? It's going to be over here-ish, e-weapon placement. Copy that, paste it here, right click, send to back. And I'm actually going to rotate it. So to do that, when you select it and then you hover over a corner, near a corner, you'll see this curvy arrow. That means that you can rotate the thing. If you hold shift while you do it, it'll constrain it to, I think, 15-degree increments, and then rotating it sort of slide it behind there, so as a reference. So yeah, this is something that I could do for myself as a reference as well. There's other cool thingies you could do if you really get into Figma by having like arrows that are sort of attached and magnetic to the things, but I'm not going to show that today. Yeah, so these are different tips and tricks that I have that I use, and this is what they refer to as an infinite canvas. You can build decks and decks and decks and decks and decks in this space. If you run a space, you can always right click and duplicate, or you can just hit the plus and create another page for another workshop. Yeah, and you can delete those pages too. I think that's about it that I have for the Star Wars Destiny Visual Database Figma Beginner's Guide. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments, or you can hit me up on Discord. Here's my Discord tag name thing. I'm also on all those different Star Wars Destiny Discord channels, whatever they are. Hit me up there too. Thanks. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know. Good luck. Have fun.